Hello, good morning Miss Yani. Today, me, Carol, and Richard will present about climate change in China. Before we get into the topic, we have to understand what climate change is and its effect around the world.
Now let's talk about the definition. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Such shifts can be natural due to changes in the sun's activity or large volcanic eruptions. But since the 18,000s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change.
The cause of climate change. Generating power. Generating electricity and heat by burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas causes a large chunk of global emissions. Most electricity is still produced from fossil fuels. Only about a quarter comes from wind, solar, and other renewable energy. Manufacturing goods. Manufacturing and industry produce emission mostly from burning fossil fuels to produce energy, making things like cement, iron, steel, electronics, plastic, clothes, and other goods. Mining and other industrial process also release gases. Cutting down forests. Cutting down forests to create farms or pastures for other reason causes emissions, since trees, when they are cut, release the carbon they have been storing. Since forests absorb carbon dioxide, destroying them also limits nature's ability to keep emission out of the atmosphere.
Now let's talk about the impact of climate change throughout the world. Warmer temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature. This poses many risks to human beings and all other forms of life on Earth. First of all is hotter temperatures. Nearly all land areas are seeing more hot days and heat waves. 2020 was one of the hottest years on record. Higher temperatures increase heat-related illnesses and can make it more difficult to work and move around. Wildfires start more easily and spread more rapidly when conditions are harder. Second is more severe storms. Changes in temperature causes changes in rainfall. This results in more severe and frequent storms. They cause flooding and landslides, destroying homes and communities and costing billions of pounds. Third is increase in drought. Water is becoming more scarce in more regions. Droughts can stir destructive sand and dust storms that can move billions of tons of sand across continents. Deserts are expanding, reducing land for growing food. Many people now face the threat of not having enough water on a regular basis. Fourth is a warming rising ocean. The ocean soaks up most of the heat from global warming. This melts ice sheets and raises sea levels, threatening coastal and island communities. The ocean also absorbs carbon dioxide, keeping it from the atmosphere. More carbon dioxide makes the ocean more acidic, which endangers marine life. Fifth is the loss of species. Climate change poses risks to the survival of species on land and in the ocean. These risks increase as temperatures climb. Forest fire, extreme weather, and invasive pests and diseases are among many threats. Some species will be able to relocate and survive, but others will not. Sixth is not enough food. Changes in climate and increases in extreme weather events are among the reasons behind a global rise in hunger and poor nutrition. Fisheries, crops, and livestock may be destroyed or become less productive. Heat stress can diminish water and grasslands for grazing too. And the seventh is more health risk. Changing weather patterns are expanding diseases such as malaria. Extreme weather events increase disease and death and make it difficult for healthcare systems to keep up. Other risks to health include increased hunger and poor nutrition in places where people cannot grow or find sufficient food.
How to reduce climate change? Save energy. Much of our electricity and heat is powered by coal, oil, and gas. Use less energy by lowering your heat and cooling, switching to LED light bulbs and energy efficient electric appliance, washing your laundry with cold water or hanging things to dry instead of using a dryer. Walk, cycle, or take public transportation. The world roads are clogged with vehicles, most of them burning diesel or petrol. Walking or riding a bike instead of driving will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and help your health and fitness. For longer distance, consider taking train and buses, and carpool whenever possible. Next one is eat more vegetables. Eating more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and less meat and dairy can significantly lower your environmental impact. Producing plant-based foods generally results in fewer gas emissions and requires less energy and land and water. Is consider your travel. Consider your travel. Airplane burns large amounts of fossil fuels, producing significant greenhouse gas emissions. That makes taking fewer flights one of the fastest ways to reduce your environmental impact. When you can meet virtually, take a train or skip that long distance trip altogether. Next is throw away less food. When you throw food away, you're always wasting the resources and the energy that we are used to grow, produce, package, and transport it. And when food rots in a landfill, it produces methane, a powerful greenhouse gases. So use what you buy and compost any leftovers. Soon reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. Electronics, clothes, and other items we buy cause carbon emissions at each point in production, from the extraction of raw materials to manufacturing and transporting goods to market. To protect our climate, buy fewer things, shop second hand, repair what you can recycle.
Now let's talk about the impact of climate change in China. Climate change caused an increase in sea level, threatening to impair the functions of harbors. Rising sea levels affect China's.
What did China do to reduce climate change? China has also launched major efforts on improving its climate adaptations and resilience, including a national strategy increasing protections of wetlands and animal species and growing the proportion of grassland and forested areas. The government has invested heavily in electric vehicles, and China's climate policy about climate change. China submitted its mid-century low greenhouse gas emission development strategy and updated NDC in October 2021, aiming to reach carbon neutrality and before 2060 and peak CO2 emissions before 2030. The strategy includes reducing carbon intensity by over 65% from 2005 levels, achieving over 1,100 GW of installed wind and solar power, and increasing non-fossil fuels in primary energy consumption. China forest stocks should be 6 billion cubic meters above 2005 levels by 2030. However, China's coal production reached its highest level in 2021, and energy-related CO2 emissions rose by 5.8% compared to 2020. Climate Action Tracker rates China climate policy as highly insufficient, recommending early emission reduction, faster fossil fuels consumption reduction, and clear phase-out timelines.
Now you must be wondering what is China's plan in the future to reduce climate change. While China has launched some big initiatives and appears to be committed to migrating the effects of the climate crisis and increasing its use of green energy, its international commitments fall short of what experts say is needed. The net zero target is widely regarded as too late to ensure the world limits global heating to 1.5 Celsius, above pre-industrial levels, and emissions must peak by 2025 to be in line with Paris's goals. What separates China from the rest of the world is the power of its leader, Xi Jinping, to make climate a politically non-negotiable pillar of long-term policy making, said the Asia Society paper. But realistically, for now, officials will not sacrifice short-term economic demands for the 2030 target, and certainly not for 2060, raising the prospect of serious challenges near the end of the decade.